What's up, guys? Welcome back to the crazy chaos of my life. So we're filling this house full of fish tanks and it's going crazy, but this video is devoted to crayfish and tank mates that you can keep with aquarium crayfish. I just got two blue crayfish to put in a 6-foot long 125-gallon tank. Here, let me flip the camera. I'm gonna show you guys. So here is the tank, and we have two electric blue crayfish in there. And as you can tell, this tank has a ton of coverage, and you might ask yourself, well, what tank mates are you keeping with the crayfish? And Whiskey, hey, try to be quiet during these videos. What are you eating? What are you chewing on? It's crazy. But anyways, guys, crayfish and what fish I keep them with. I gotta say, I was a little torn on this decision because I knew that crayfish are going to hunt and kill live fish no matter what. And it's like, but I want to keep crayfish in an aquarium so bad that, you know, it's almost like, what are the best options of fish to keep with something that almost inevitably is going to kill them? So I did a lot of thinking, and some people may disagree with this, but you know, I've been keeping fish for a hot minute, and as you guys saw, my house is full of fish tanks. So, and I did do a lot of thinking about this. So, I came up with a consensus. The best tank mates that you should keep with your crayfish are, number one, Livebearers. Guppies, mollies, platies, swords. The reason is because there's lots of little fish and they're going to be constantly breeding. So if you lose one, it's not going to be the end of the world. I know that sort of sucks to think about, but it is what it is. If you think about it, there's a lot of things like this in the hobby. You know, an instance of this would be a betta fish with shrimp. People commonly keep shrimp with bettas, and yes, bettas are carnivorous, and do they eat them? Sometimes they do, but people still keep them together. So, the number one tank mate for crayfish is Livebearers, mollies, platies, guppies, endlers, and number two, I'm going to get a little feedback on this, I know I will. Goldfish. I know it seems like a weird choice, and the reason I'm choosing goldfish to keep with crayfish is because most of them they're bulky enough to not get caught by a crayfish. And you know, goldfish will commonly grow pretty decent size. There's a lot of varieties of goldfish, don't get me wrong. Ideally, a single tail goldfish is going to be better, and I suppose you could also say just a koi fish would work as well. And what a lot of people don't know, though, is that crayfish are nocturnal, and they like to mainly hide during the day. So also note, this is a pretty important variable to know when keeping crayfish. I also see a lot of crayfish die on fish keepers, and I think it's because, number one, they're not giving them the hiding spots that they need because they are nocturnal and they prefer to hide like all day long. And secondly, diet. A lot of people don't know how much protein crayfish actually need. And what I do personally is when a fish dies here in the house, you know, I have over 50 tanks, so there's commonly a fish that's dying, and what we'll do is we'll throw it in the tank with the crayfish and they'll just devour it. Because in natural habitat, that is what a crayfish's most common meal is going to be, just decaying dead carcass of fish. And they need that much protein. They're scavengers and they love the protein. People seem to think that, you know, I'll give them an algae wafer. Well, that's great, but they really do love that protein. Alright guys, I didn't mean to get all ranty as far as taking care of crayfish, but I guess to wrap this up, my two favorite tank mates for keeping aquarium crayfish are, number one, Livebearers. Guppies, platies, endlers, swordtails, and the reason is because they breed so often and it's not going to be the end of the world if they catch them. They're pretty quick. They will catch them. It's perfect size, but they're breeding, guys. Just don't sweat it. And secondly, goldfish, because they're huge, they're bulky, and commonly can just swim away even if they try to get caught. And they're very, you know, and I wouldn't advise super slow swimming fancy goldfish. That's a terrible idea. But most of them are fast, you know, shabunkins, even koi. Those are my two tank mates for crayfish. Please let me know in the comment section. Are you thinking about buying some crayfish, some electric blues, maybe some Mexican dwarf crayfish? There's so many different kinds. Let me know what you think are the best fish to keep with them as far as tank mates. Alright guys, want to hear from you. Thanks for checking out my channel. Make sure to subscribe and go to my main channel as well, Palmer Aquatics. Much love!